Brian, not the result we wanted on Saturday in the Scottish Cup, but a very healthy travelling support, probably the largest you've seen in your time here. What would your message be to the 1,700 fans that made the trip up to Perth?
Yeah, I mean, obviously thank all the supporters that made the journey up there. Difficult circumstances with no trains running and replacement buses. Obviously we had 3 buses running ourselves here, but it was great to see so many Motherwell supporters at the game. Unfortunately the result wasn't what any of us wanted or expected, but I thought they were really noisy and tried to get behind the team as much as they possibly could. But I think all in all it was a very disappointing day for us all on Saturday, and no more so in Stuart as well, and his team, because they take it very harshly, shall we say, and it's a difficult one to deal with, because obviously you want a cup run the same as we did in the League Cup, financial reasons and also for the season as well. So yeah, it was a disappointing day on Saturday.
What has this week been like since that result? Have you spoken to the manager? Has it been a bit of a reset, shall we say, for this week?
I think so in some ways. We came through a difficult spell over Christmas. The festive period was a really tough run of games to play. Celtic away, Rangers at home, Hearts and Hibs away, Aberdeen at home. It was a tough set of fixtures, and obviously it took its toll as well. The injuries haven't helped us, let's not be kidded in that. Some people might say, don't make excuses, but I think when you look at the injuries we've got just now, with 9 or 10 currently out injured, probably in my opinion 5 or 6 of them would be starting the game. So you look at some of the big clubs and the big teams around, not just Scotland but England, etc, if they've got a number of key players missing from that starting 11, it can make such an impact in your performance. Hopefully we can see some light at the end of the tunnel if we can get a few of them back, but it just seems to be quite a few of them are now long term as well, which is a concern. We've got the window open just now, which is a saving grace, that hopefully we can bring some new recruits in to help bolster that squad. I think when we started, we looked at the window in August and we thought, we've got a number of injuries, but to be probably in a worse state now than we were at the start, in August. There's nothing in that. I think a lot of clubs are looking at having the same situation as we are with a number of injuries. We've analysed that to death as well to see, is there something we're doing differently that's picking up injuries. But I think when you look at it, a lot of them are contact injuries, that actually happen in games, which you can't legislate for. And hopefully, we can get players back, obviously bolster the squad and try and kick on. I think when I try and reflect on things, and I looked at the table from 23 games last season, we're 9 points better off than we were this time last year, which I think is a positive. We've been in a cup semi-final as well, which does take its toll with extra games, but hopefully we can compete in the remaining games and try and remain in the top 6 positions, which is ultimately our aim. From a budget point of view, in my opinion, we're probably in the bottom 3 in the league. So to be 5th in the league and 9 points better off than this time last year, I think is a positive one. Albeit we want to be better all the time, and Stuart and all the staff and the players, everybody at the football club wants to improve all the time, and obviously we want to win every possible game we can.
You've somewhat touched on it, but I'll ask it outright. January window is open. Are we expecting more new faces at Motherwell?
Yeah, I think there's no doubt about that. We need to try and help where we possibly can. I think Stuart would like to, always was going to try and bring numbers in to boost the squad, hopefully players that can play. I think with the injury situation, it's made it even more imperative that we bring some new recruits in and try and help that squad to get through, because we're going to need every single player from now to the end of the season, going by the recent injuries we've had.
Obviously, with it being the January window, it's not just about incomes. Outgoings is always going to be a question as well. There have been reports about the club rejecting an offer for Lennon Miller. Can you shed some light on that situation and add a bit of transparency?
Yeah. Well, listen, to be bluntly obvious about this, or bluntly truthful on this, we've had a couple of offers from a club who are miles away from the valuation of what we would deem Lennon Miller to be selling. We're not desperate to sell the player. We've always said from day one that it's got to be right for Lennon, it's got to be right for the football club, and we're not just going to accept any kind of offer for Lena Miller. Lena Miller's statistically, I believe, in the top 7 players in the world for his age, for midfield players. So, you know, he's an exceptional talent. We all know that. And if and when Lennon does move, it will be for the right price for us, and it will also be the right for Lena Miller at the same time.
Moving back towards the supporter side of things, you mentioned about the supporters buses running to Perth.
Mm-hmm.
I know this is something that we've discussed before, but is there scope there to maybe have something like that a little bit more regularly for away games?
Yeah, it's something I've been talking to the Welsh Society about, to be honest, the Welsh Society board. I do believe it's something you know, there is interest in it. You know, obviously we had close to 2,000 supporters there on Saturday, so it was easy to run 3 buses and fill them. I think if there is demand, and there certainly is interest, I think we put this out before, and there seemed to be quite a number of people interested in getting to away games, and if we ran it ourselves, you know, perhaps it would encourage more people to come along and support the team. So yeah, it's definitely something I'll continue to have dialogue with the Welsh Society board and see if we can come up with a plan for the future.
Again, we're going over old ground here, but sticking with the theme of away fans at Fir Park.
Right.
A talking point is them being in the top tier of the Tommy McLeod stand. Can you just give a little bit of guidance as to why that is? Yeah,
I mean, being transparent again, the seats in the bottom tier are probably needing a bit of attention, shall we say. And obviously there would be quite a bit of expenditure in replacing the whole lower tier. In order to try and give that a bit of longevity, having the away supporters in the top tier where we can, and minimise the use of the lower tier, actually helps that, given the lifespan of the lower tier and us having to spend a lot of money on replacing the full seating deck. But also it helps us a little bit with stewarding and policing costs too, because it's easier. And also from a away supporters' point of view, you know, the reason the lower tier are mainly in poor repair is actually because it's open to the elements. You know, having supporters in the top tier actually gives them better shelter. So hopefully it's a better experience for them. It's still a really good view up there. And when we first spoke about this, the only criticism I got was that actually putting supporters up there was making the atmosphere better for the away supporters, but that seems to have changed. But I think there are a number of reasons why we've put them in the top tier that I've just outlined there, and hopefully that makes perfect sense to most people.
You're in that time of year where AGMs start to take place. Can you provide a little bit of clarity on when those take place as well? Yeah,
we're currently going through our audit just now. The auditors are in for a week or two, just going through everything, and we've set the AGM date for the club on the 27th of February. So that's a date for any shareholders, of the club shareholders, for that. And I think the Welsh Society have their AGM on the 31st of March as well. So a couple of dates for diaries if you're a club shareholder, then 27th of February, and if you're a Welsh Society member, then the 31st of March.
Just to expand slightly, how's that working relationship been between club and Welsh Society since we last spoke?
Really, really good, to be honest with you. I think the new board of the Welsh Society have been, you know, we've had regular dialogue as we always have done, to be fair, since the moment I come in here. Every single one of them has been absolutely brilliant with me, and we've got a really good working relationship. You know, there's regular dialogue on a daily basis. I probably speak to, as I've said before, but I probably speak to 3 or 4 a day, which is really important that we're all working together, and I really see us working closely together going forward, which we have done for the last number of months.
Thanks for your time, man.
Thanks, Scott.